Hello. Uh, hey guys, my name is Mainawycliffe. So today I want to focus to do something very simple. So I've been working on this extension. It's called NPM Imported Packages Package List, which basically shows you links to NPM GitHub pages and the homepage for for an imported package on TypeScript. So let's see this in action just to give you a glimpse. So in this file, which is a TypeScript file, so these are my imported files. And if I hovered on, let's say, VS Code, I'll be able to see the links to NPM, which you can click and open. And if we went to this tscode extension, which I have used as part of this package, we can click and open that as well. So we can view the page, we can view the GitHub page for the extension. This will help you with opening issues, viewing the documentations, and that's the idea for this extension, being able to go to the documentation or places where you can get quickly help without needing to leave your TypeScript first. Because before, all you had to do something like copy the extension, paste it on Google, and hopefully find the correct link on NPM. And God forbid, there are multiple extensions that are named the same. So with this extension, you can go directly to a repository. You can go, this is not just limited to GitHub. You can go to GitHub or any other, wherever the extension is hosted. And you can view the docs for that. So, so this is the code behind that. So let me show you the key parts a little bit. So, so this is when the extension is activated. So I have to, before I implemented the current hover implementation, I used to use CodeRens. So I haven't removed that. So there's this method for languages where you can use CodeRens. And this basically took the documentation in question and looked for import declaration, as you can see here. And then it will go loop over and build up find the extension name. That is the name of the not the npm package name or the module name, and then sort of like create a link to npm. So after that, I implemented the hover part, which is basically this thing, which is whenever you hover on something on VS Code, VS Code shows you extra information. And this was suggested to by a friend, and and this ended up being a much better experience, because if we were to go to settings, I think we can see the code runs, and it occupied a lot of space. So let's see. So you can go here, extension. We can do something like npm. Yeah, there you go. So if we turn on that, which is where I hid it before I remove it on version 1, and you can see now we have these things on CodeRens on top of each package, which is taking up precious space in your workspace, and you don't want that. So to work around this, I implemented, let me just disable that. Yeah, it's that. So I implemented the hover one. This was done last week, and now this works by hovering on it so that it can give you the links to follow an npm package. So today I wanted to do something very, I hope it's very small. I have no idea how long it's going to take. And that is make it work with NPM packages listed both on dev and dev dependencies and even peer dependencies on NPM. So the idea is simple. Whenever you hover on this, it will be able to give you a link directly to NPM, GitHub, other doc site. On top of that, in future, I'm thinking of being able to sort of like have extra information like the latest version, the current version, and things like that. And the whole idea is to create a much better developer experience by providing this useful information right in your editor, and you can go directly to the source of information where you can get help. So to start with, I have no idea how to achieve this. So it's not like something I had planned. So this is just a live stream, hopefully for the next 1 hour, where I'll go through the process of learning how to do this and hopefully completing the implementation of this. If I'm not able to complete in the next 1 hour, I'll probably schedule another live stream for tomorrow where we'll continue hacking this until we get it working. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. So link not. So that's not the correct window. So if we came to, so we always start with Google as developers, which is, well, you have to be able to Google very well, but so what we want to do is sort of like look for activation events. So let's see activation. Let's open this in a new tab. So as you can see, we can activate it on JSON, but we don't want this extension to be activated on every JSON. We want to target package.json. So let's go through the docs and see if we can have this getting activated, no dependencies. Interesting. So value of specified is expanded. No, not that. Maybe that could be useful with some further experimentation. One of the things that I have learned with these extensions is that while the VS Code team has done a very good work documenting this, there's still a huge portion where you have to figure it out. Not everyone else is going to be building this. So I think we have to use this. Let's see what happens on activation event. So we are going to use JSON. And so let's go back to the extension activation events, which are these. So at the moment, it works for JavaScript and TypeScript, and also JSX and TSX variant. That is React JSX variant. So I'm going to add this here, which is probably like that. And in order to make this work, I'm going to register one of these. So I want to use a hover. So let's say something like this. Register hover for package JSON. Let's just give it a super generic name, a little bit, or not super generic, but generic enough. So register. So how do you, not command? So I need to, register hover. So here we need, I think we can say package.json. So let's look into this. So the document selector, what's document selector? It's going to be a string array of document filler or string. So document selector is file, language. Let's see that. So in this case, we say the language, scheme, and pattern. So, and I think this all are redundant, which is an interface. So I think we can use this to advantage where we can say JSON, and then here we are going to add a glob that targets all package.json files, and then we'll see what happens. So, pattern. Thanks God for that. And okay, I think we need that, and I think we are going to have a second one of these for provider, which, let's see the format here. So we have that, and that's an object which is going to provide hover, which is going to have document position token, and let's see what's missing here. So let's return undefined for now. Let's see what happened. Oh, now. Okay, that's better. So, okay, let's see console.log. Let's just say, yeah, was activated. So let's so we need to tell VS Code to dispose this to subscribe to that. So you're going to say add this here. So ledge hover package.json, and this is now we have that. Let's try and learn this extension. Let's debug this extension now. So I think F5 should do the trick. That never works the first time. So I still have a few things I need to resolve here. But configure task. So I think we want to configure to have it run yes build. And then let's run the task. I think I should have something in here. So this should work normally. So we should be able to see this for something like React hook form. So let's just give it a sec here. There you go. So let's clear the logs a little bit. So let's open package.json and see what happens. So that's okay. Okay, what happened? Let's clear the logs. Maybe I should say I'm one of the people who are very, yay, I was activated. So that's a very good sign. Not perfect, but good, because it means this is getting activated. It won't get activated for TypeScript files. No, but for this, it gets activated. Yeah. So, okay. I'm making some progress either way. So let's change that to, I think I should do the trick. So let's see what happens. Let's console.log the package.json. Okay. So come here. Reload the extension. As we wait for that to load. And that should be emitting some sort of something. For some reason, this keeps on not drawing an error, which I am taking it upon myself to ignore. But Now you see, we can see the extensions here. So the beauty, the one advantage of doing this on the package.json is that if you look at this, let me see if I can zoom in. Apparently not. Let's see. That's better. If you look at this, you're able to see the actual packages. So I don't really have to do some clever time to extract the package from dev dependencies. Okay. Interesting. I just realized. So that's a document. Let's zoom out a little bit. So let's go back to this and let's zoom on something. Nice. So when we zoom on something, we are getting something on our console. For some reason, I was confusing this with the code lens, which would basically be triggered whenever a document is loaded, and this would lead to everything being displayed there. So one thing is I have to remember this every time I load this, is that I have to hover on something in order to see the results. So let's change our log a little bit to see what we are getting back here. Or to understand. So let's see. So what we want to do is figure out what's at this position. So provide hover. Whenever you hover on something on package.json, you get the whole document, which is this one which we have. And the beauty of it is it's a JSON file. I hope no one is using comments there, because I have no idea how JavaScript is going to handle that. We might need to think a little bit about that. And those are the kind of things sometimes you have to think about. For the most part, I don't think a lot of people have any JSON comments in there. Yeah, but the second part we get is the position. That is where the hover was. If we log this, console.log position, or if we log, let's do something clever here. So if you say document.position at position dot text, I think we can get text. No, not at that point. Let's see. Position dot line, I think. Let's see what we get when we log that. Sometimes I feel like I'm running around like a headless chicken. Okay. Let's see what happens when we hover on something. Let's hover on a few, just to make sure. So we are getting the position for each of our hover, and what I'm trying to get is the content for that. So let's see. I think we can get. I think I've forgotten. So position on that. This position. I think I want to say line art position dot text. Let's see what happens. Is this a method? Nope. That's a property. So let's say let's reload that a little bit. Now, what I expect to see here is whenever I hover on this, I expect to see this and I probably should have commented out a few lines in here. So there you go. So now we can see which position was something when something was positioned at. And now the tricky part is trying to figure out whether we care about it. And let's go back and check out the anatomy of package.json file. And we don't care about everything. We only care about three properties. So dev dependencies, and dependencies and peer dependencies. So if someone comes in and hover on scripts, anything in there we don't care about. So what we want to care about is this inside a dev dependency, or is it inside a dependency, or is it inside peer dependencies? And I'm trying to think a little bit of clearly, or trying to figure out the best solution to figure that part out. And the reason building this extension has been fun for me is the kind of challenges it is throwing back at me, like something like that. I didn't expect to find myself in a situation whereby I have to figure out that. So one thing that comes to mind is that I can take this and then, so I have the text here. So let's say, so let's start hover text. Let's call it hover text for now. And say, let's remove that. Let's call it hover text. Let's remove this console and remove this. So what I can do is sort of like say constant dependencies. It shall be equal. So I want to create a list or an object containing all dependencies. So I can say something like package.json. So this is going to spread everything else. So I've got this GitHub Copilot, and I'm going to spread also package.json dot via dependencies. So ideally, this should create a list of all my dependencies. And what I can now do is check if this is inside here. And if it's inside there, then we care about that position. If it's not, we don't. So let's see, console.log. Let's see what this spits out. One step at a time. At least that's what I'm telling myself here. So let's clear the logs here and reload our test window and see if it caches the months. So let's see hover that, and let's see what we are getting for logs on our side. Okay, that's very promising. So we have a list of all our dependencies. Let's just confirm that. Everything from TypeScript all the way to font awesome. So let's see, just confirm that. Yeah, everything from there all the way to TypeScript. Progress we have. So now that we have that, I'm sorry, I'm copying a lot. Let's see what we can do with that information. So one thing you have to note about this is that let's just log this console.log hover text. We can just go ahead and compare them directly because this is text. So if you are to do something like a type of hover text, we might want to convert it into something that we can use to compare. So I'm trying to figure out, do we go with comparing the version number, checking if it's React and version maybe 18 point something, or do I go with taking the whole string and then stringifying the dependencies into that? I'm not too sure yet, but let's just see what this spits out, and then we can progress from there. Okay, so let's clear the logs and let's reload the window. Shit. So I don't really want to hover on a lot of things because this is going to add noise to the logs. So I should be using keyboard thingies here. Okay, that's okay. Let's see. So this gives us a list of that, and this gives us this, and it's a type of string. But what we can do, or what we can see, is that this. So the question is, this is still an object, so it means it's a string object. So this is probably going to be something like console. This is going to be something like this string. And because we have this information TypeScript doesn't have, so something we can do here is says as that. So in this case, we are saying this. You can use this, or you can use a utility type which I really love using, which is record string. So this is actually the same as that. So, and this means our object is this. So what we can do here is something like, let's remove this log. We don't really need it. So we can say something like, I'm trying to figure the best way to do this. So, so something object dot entries dependencies. And I'm going to filter. So for each dependency, so what I want to do is, so in this case, I'm getting this, which is a string, and I might want to, before I can do anything in there, I might want to say constant trying to figure out the best way to achieve this. So I might have to say constant something like I want to concatenate this so that I can say constant dependency lines shall be equals to something like that, which should give me something along these lines, which is what I'm going for. I'm going for that to look like this. So if it's this, it gets concatenated to that. So in this case, I'm taking the first and the second and creating a concatenation of both. And I want to add this. Shit. Let's use string literals. Template string. Oh shit, I'm confusing the two. And this becomes that. And so no need for the plus. And this should from the kind of thing we are looking for. And the question is, he has to show. Let's go with double quotes for now. And one thing I can do here is something like P or package version. So I'm just destructuring it so that it's a little bit easier on my end. I might want to do that. And in this case, I can now say package version. And let's rename this to package name. so that it seems to be colliding with something. So as you can see, we have a correct typing for that. And now this gives us this. And so what we want to do is something I just realized we haven't done is do something, say that dot text dot let's stream. And that basically will remove any white spaces at the end and the last line. And now we can, I think we can do something like if dependence line equals, then otherwise return false. And let's see, so in this case we can assign this constant age dependency, or dependency list shall be equals, let's see what we get here. So that's list there. Okay, so let's see what happens when we do that. So let's reload that. And let's wait for that to load, which is taking like forever. Yeah, it seems like we have an error somewhere. Let's see what's getting reported on our side. So you're getting 0. Interesting. Okay, so let's add a few extra logs. So we are doing these two. On top of that, I want to add this console.log. I want to see what we are comparing, dependency line and also forward text, or just for fun. So let's clear the logs and let's do something like this. So let's see what we are getting. So we are still getting 0, but we see the log is giving us what we are looking for. So in this case, we have the correct that, and this is getting solved to that. The question is, the two look alike. Oh shit, I forgot about this comma. Okay, let's replace that. Let's remove the comma. Replacing the comma with nothing. So a little bit of hacky, but I think that will be a nice trick to do. And let's reload. It's always a small thing that gets you for some reason. It's whenever you're coding, whenever you're writing code, it's always a small thing that are always going to trip you up. And one thing I should tell people is that fast feedback. Oh, nice. And we have a winner. So this, what this is going. So what you're going to say here is that if dependencies list of strength equals to 0, so in this case, it means return null. It means that you have overdone something that's not a dependency. Otherwise, now we can create a hover, and I'm going to copy paste here because I have no idea how long it's going to take to duplicate it. So otherwise, we have dependency, and I need to rename this variable name to is a dependency. Is hover text a dependency? Yay! Much better. Much better. Shit. Sorry, my character is not really fun for some reason. So this is going to be what I'm sorry, I forgot about the YouTube live stream, which is probably going to, I need to check, probably around, let's go to via Twitter because I have no idea what's going on. So let's see how many of you are watching. Let's move this to the bigger window so that I can monitor myself for some reason. And start the roads at snail pace. Yeah, it seems like I'm the only one watching, so no worries. That happens. And one thing I really hate about that is that it's like 5 minutes behind. So let's forget about that. Ooh, unfortunately, I don't have any edits to remove some of this super commentary from myself. Oh, hey, Win. Yeah, at least Win is on board, which is fun. A very good friend of mine. I probably should have tweeted that. So let's do a quick recap before I get lost in my doctrines on this one. Is that now we have a list of we are able to get on hover on package.json. We are able to determine if that hover text is part of the package line. That is one of the packages. That is peer dependencies, dev dependencies, and dependencies. And once we determine that, it means that now we can go over and decide and create a link for in which to show the link to the package. So I want to go back to this line here, to the previous implementation of for TypeScript and JavaScript files. And this used TS query to determine to determine import declaration and determine if hover text is part of that. And then if not, it's not, then return null. Otherwise, get the first node and add a hover on it. I still have some fixes I think I can add on this one, but that's I won't do in this stream. So one area where I want is that we have this here, which is where we fetch details from NPM Api. And this is a helper function which is written above here, which I think, and basically fetches everything from the register and gets the latest information about the package. And once we get that information, if it returns null, we don't really want to show hover because most likely it's not a valid package. The reason that can happen is when people use what is it called, TypeScript to modify the import paths. They are called aliases, so that you can make your import paths shorter. And there's no easy way to determine if it's a package name, and it's that because they are all scoped within an organization. I'm sure there's a correct word for that, which I am not using. So after you get that information, the rest of the it is easy. So what we do is get a Git repository. This could be mostly it's GitHub, but some packages are on GitHub and others on Bitbucket, among others. So this one doesn't discriminate apart from the name. So we don't really want to send you to a GitHub page that doesn't exist. And then we have docs homepage. This is usually like the homepage where the docs are hosted. And if the package doesn't have that, it usually directs to the README for that package. And then after that, then we can create a Markdown string containing the information. So when it's asking a question, did you write the feature from search? Yeah, I did. And took a lot of experimentation to do this. I wish I had the live stream from the beginning because it would have been fun to. I'm having a ton of fun adding this simple feature. because I rant a lot, I never thought I would do it in a couple of hours, because it took just one evening where I decided, no, I want to implement this, and that just went to the docs, read the docs, and then ended up with a feature that was semi-working, and then with a few feedback from people, and then I improved it a lot, and I'm improving. This feature to implement it on package.json was a suggestion from a friend of mine to add that feature in, and I thought it might be useful. So I'm going to copy the whole of this code block here, and then I'm going to explain line by line on what we are going to do. So here we have like an array of this, and from this, I think we can guess it's only a single line. So let's modify this. If this one is not equal to 1, that is 2 lines matched, then it's probably an error. So this means, what basically this means is that it's probably, we probably have to, our dependency is probably added as a duplicate, which I don't see how that is possible. So after that, then you can say something like so constant package names equals to this, and because we don't really care about the version, we can leave it at that, and this destructures just the package name. And then now let's paste my line my lines of code here, which gives me package info. So let's convert this function into an async function. So this provider, and that should fix the await problem here. And then we have the package name, obviously. So here, what we are doing is basically telling NPM to give us all the details about that package as possible. It has. If it doesn't have any information, we are throwing an error, which we catch at this point, and we are just logging it and then returning null at that point. So the next thing we are going to do is create a Git repository URL here. So we basically casting that as a string because we know it's a string. And then because it comes prefixed with Git pass and prefixed with Git pass and suffixed with .git, we want to remove that so that we are left with a plain URL. So this so that you get something like this URL will look something like Git plus HTTP, something like github.com / mainawycliffe vscodelinks.git. So what we want to do is strip out this part and then strip out this part. So that's what we are doing here. Then the docs URL. This way I'm also doing the same because there is a possibility it's the same as the Git URL. So we are removing any of this so that we are left with a plain URL that we can link to. And lastly, what we want to create is use this Markdown string class to create a Markdown, which is basically a plain Markdown. And we don't need this. This is something that was left over from something I was experimenting, but it's something I'll get back to. But at the moment, we are just showing plain text, but VS Code provides a way to sort of like add icons, which I believe can add some fun to it. So what we want to say here is npm package links for the package name. So in this case, it's different. And we are bulleting the text and then saying, adding a link to npm.js.com. So in this case, the actual package, and then Git repository. So if you know how Markdown works, this is how you add a URL or a href, and then the home page. Once we have that in, then we have to tell VS Code to trust the Markdown we just wrote above by setting the is trusted true. And then in order for VS Code to show a hover or a pop-up, or this pop-up we are seeing here, we have to return a new hover with our content above. And then let's remove this last return now because it's useless. with some luck, this should be working. So let's go back and reload this. Moment of truth. Shit. That's not working. Let's see the logs. Okay. Let's see. What could be the problem? Let's just clean up this a little bit so that we can move this log so that we have a little bit of a clear picture of what is going on. So what we want to do is say console.log for Java for JavaScript and TypeScript developers. We do really use a lot of logs. It seems like it's our primary way of debugging. I could basically step into that or create it and create a breaking point, which is probably a better approach, to be honest. But habits die hard, I guess. So let's see what we get. So hovering on that, let's see. Okay, so we are getting 1, which means this returns now. Let's add a few logs here. Let's hope that package name is not correct. It's correct. So let's reload that. Yeah, I agree with you, Wayne. The amount of logs we do is insane. So let's see what we do. Why is that? Let's just reload that. Let's see what we get here. Hey, we have liftoff. Let's see that again. Yeah, nice. Let's open. Yes, unfortunately, it's opening in the wrong window. Let's see. There you go. Let's find something else and see what we get. So that's the mix. Oh shit, this is still opening in the wrong window. Yeah, so that works. I guess that's the feature. We have a basic implementation of the package on package.json. And we did it in 1 hour, which is something I'm very excited about. I thought it would take a few streams to get at least an MVP. So we still need to do a few cleanup. It seems like it's a little bit finicky or not working as smoothly as I would like. At the moment, it seems to be working much better than it was before. Let's see what the logs are telling us. Yeah, that's telling us everything we need. Ooh, nice. So excited about that. So let's do a few. Let's clean up the code and then commit this. And there are a few interesting things out there like to do at the moment. I still haven't figured out how to test extensions on VS Code, which is sounds like an insane plan. I have no idea where to get started on, but I'm always up to a challenge. So that's probably something we are going to do at some point in the course of either this week or next week. So let's go at the very top. So register hover for package.json. That's a collector or as collector as you can get. So then I'll just look into package.json content. So let's rename that to package.json content, not connect. So I'm a huge fan of code readability, and one of the best way is to achieve this is through clearly named variables. So yeah, sorry, I curse a lot. yeah, that's one of the disadvantages of working with people from England. I picked up a bad habit. And not that it was a bad experience, it was an amazing over 2.5 years experience, but I learned how to curse a lot. So Howard text, I think that Howard text, yeah, I don't really think I can have a better name for that. And then let's call this all dependencies in package JSON file. So we're just doing a little bit of a cleanup before wrapping up, but this is something I really love to do afterwards, because especially when you're doing experimentation, sometimes you end up with variables that are not named correctly. So it's Howard text a dependency. So this is okay. This is factually correct. I'm just wondering whether I can do something like this here. Maybe. So the reason I'm doing this is because now I can say that, and no, that's just doing it. So let's just go back to our simple approach. So in this case, the variable name is incorrect, so I need to name it to something like covered text in dependency list. And this is so what I really mean with this is so I need to add a comment, because if the whole text is a dependency in the package JSON, God bless GitHub GitHub Copilot, because it does better comments than I will ever do, and that's the honest truth. So there is that. So then do a little bit of a cleanup. Then there, package details from JSON. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of casting here, which is probably it's not something I usually encourage people to do. But for Lisa to have to do, I think that's good to go for the future. So let's commit that up and wrap up this live stream, unless there are any questions. So stop that, and then you can say implement. I think I have something in one of the minutes. Just go GitHub. Yeah, I think this is the package itself. I think I have an issue in here. Yeah, this one. So let's copy issue number 3. I don't really have to copy that. I think my memory is large enough. So implement package links, or show package links links on package.json. And one of the beauty about GitHub is that you can say something like process #3 and commit that, and then push the change, and that should close the issue. Whenever it finishes doing that. Yeah, that closes the issue. So I see this Wayne. So anytime when we can play out with the feature on IDs, I think I can cut a release either today or tomorrow. I just need to do some more testing, but it's a matter of like creating creating a new version and then releasing it. So probably at the moment, I think we are in version 0.6 something, and because this is a new release, so probably something in 0.70, which is going to be released soon. Okay, because I need to update the README and then push the changes, and also probably update the video recording. I haven't worked with WebStorm, but well, I think I will explore that. It's been fun working with VS Code. So let's see. I'll have to look into the docs. I have no idea the compatibility of the extensions. They might be compatible. If they are, that is an easy fix. If they are not, I might have to develop an extension specifically for WebStorm. I'm enjoying working on developer tools, which is amazing for me, and I'm looking to do more of that in the future. Thank you, Wayne, for your questions, and I really appreciate you sticking with me for, I don't know, how long has it been? Oh, 1 hour, I guess. So yeah, I'll try and push in a release either tonight or tomorrow morning once I am able to record a second video on how it works and also update the README. So should have something for tomorrow morning. Okay, I think if thanks Wayne, if there is thanks Wayne, thanks Bruce for joining, and hopefully join on the next one where I'll have more people joining in. Uh, I'm also at fault because I didn't tweet about it, so thanks. So I'm going to add this broadcast now if I can figure out how to do that. So let's stop sharing, and then I think adding the broadcast now. So thanks for joining, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.